Hey guys, Ben Milliken here for Mystery Tackle Box. In today's video, I'm going to take to the bank and show you baits that I received in my box and give you guys some tips on how to fish those different types of baits in different types of situations to catch a lot more fish. Baits we're going to be using in today's video are the topwater popper and the micro spinner. These are great proven fish catchers that I've used for years, but I just gotta go ahead and use the topwater popper first because topwater is my all-time favorite way to fish. So let's dive into it. So the topwater popper, without a doubt, is probably one of my favorite all-time topwater baits. This is probably the first topwater bait I ever fished, and I can't tell you how many giant bass I caught on this bait, as well as other species as well. You know, it also catches numbers of fish really good. So I'll fire it out here, make a long cast, and the way I like to retrieve this bait depends on the activity of the fish, and it depends on where the fish are at. My favorite time to throw this bait is when the fish are around the spawn all the way through the summer, and then I'll even throw it in the fall. But the simple cadence of fishing this bait could not be easier. All you gotta do is reel up the slack in your line, twitch your rod 2 or 3 times to make that bubble on the front of that thing gurgle or pop or spit some water, and just let it sit in place. Now the lengths of your pauses, the amount of twitches, everything like that, depends on how active the fish are. You know, a day like today where it's bluebird skies, there's not a whole lot of wind, I'm gonna let that bait sit a little bit longer in the water. But if I had a cloudy day or rainy day when the fish are really moving around active, that's when you want to speed up that retrieve to trigger those strikes. The thing I really like about a popper is whenever you get it close to a dock, lay down a piece of cover that you want it to really draw a fish out of, you can sit it there in place and kind of work it back and forth. You don't have to move it very far forward for it to be effective sitting there over the top of that fish's head, and that'll a lot of times draw some of your biggest fish out of that cover. So the last bait we'll talk about today is this micro spinner type bait. I'm super jacked to fish this one because this is what I grew up fishing. This is what taught me to fish, and it's an awesome bait to use for anglers of all different types of skill levels. And the great thing about this bait is, once again, it's very versatile. You can catch 6-inch bluegill on it, or you can catch 10-pound largemouth on it. You never know what's gonna bite. So my favorite way to fish this bait is to simply cast it out and let it sink down to the desired depth. If it's deeper, you're gonna wanna let it sink a little bit further. If you're fishing shallow water, you're gonna wanna keep that rod tip up, and you very simply just cast out and reel in. It's not rocket science here. All you gotta do is keep that bait in the water, cover as much water as possible, and you're gonna catch fish. Well, that's all I got for you guys today. Hopefully you can use the tips I shared to get out with those baits and catch a bunch more fish in your area. Thanks a lot for watching, guys, and tight lines.